It is the 13th of the 8th, 2013. This is your Radioactive Reality. Let's get started. Any news? MSN, nuclear experts call for testing U.S. coastal waters and Pacific seafood for Fukushima contamination. Quote, I definitely recommend FDA and EPA increase their vigilance, unquote. What they don't tell you is that shortly after the Fukushima accident, they cut the funding on both those programs. TV, they are turning the ground into quicksand at Fukushima plant. Engineers warn reactor units may topple. Now this is the cauldron I've been talking about. They went ahead and put up the dam and the groundwater's backfilling. And the ground's becoming unstable, so it's becoming bigger and bigger problem as it goes. Tepco deeply apologizes for a mistake. Tepco's sorry. They admit they sprayed Fukushima workers accidentally, exposing them to 5 times safe radiation limit. The radioactive dust is to blame, not the water spray, question mark. And just in, they had a worker taken urgently to the hospital in bad condition, just to go that the working conditions at the Fukushima Daiichi plant are nowhere near perfect. Radiation expert, enormous amount of contamination flowing from Fukushima will probably imperil entire Pacific Ocean, threatens other countries. Food chain absolutely can reach U.S. and Canadian shores. Many of us have been going on and on about this since the very beginning. NHK special report on Fukushima. Quote, we're still in an emergency, not much time left. We can't afford to wait. A fear of contaminated water overflowing from well that's nearby trench leaking 3 billion becquerels per liter into the ground. And what they're going around and around is the deeper they dig, the higher these levels are, and that just goes to prove that the corium has left the building. It's down into the bedrock and into the environment. A time bomb in leaking Fukushima trenches. If Tepco removes extremely contaminated water as planned, it will only make more flow and since reactor buildings will only make more flow since the reactor buildings are connected to the trenches. So the more they pump out, the more that leaches in, and it's just an ongoing bubbling cauldron, isn't it? Over 15 quadrillion becquerels of radioactive substances suspected in trench that Tepco now admits is leaking into the groundwater at Fukushima. And again, the cauldron fills. Contaminations, this contamination spread on the men at the Fukushima plant. Alarm sounds over radioactivity levels. Worker, quote, they never told us reactor number 3 was steaming. I found out about it on TV. And it continues. Trench connected to Unit 2 is what's contaminating groundwater at Fukushima. Has extremely high levels, over 3 billion becquerels per liter of radioactive substances. And the water's flowing in from the broken reactor buildings, of course. And you got to remember, the ground's becoming more unstable the more saturated this ground is. And these are already damaged buildings with huge water tanks full of spent nuclear fuel 100 feet in the air. Fukushima workers, another accident is inevitable. There's always a risk for another explosion. I fear that a lot. Korean Times, 250 million liters of Fukushima contaminated water flowed into the Pacific. I'm sure it's more than that. Japan cover-up could violate international law. Hid global issues of environmental concern. And of course these criminals have been going on and on and on. The report, the people of Japan are responsible for poisoning of world's food chain due to Fukushima catastrophe. They have to stand up and take action. Quote, the buck has to stop somewhere. Now the report's bullshit. The people of Japan are not responsible for what's going on at Fukushima. They are GE nuclear reactors, operated by Tepco, owned by the Japanese government, not the people of Japan. This is insane. NBC Nightly News, urgent situation after frightening discovery at Fukushima. Planned ice walls show Tepco is grasping at straws and can't stop the plant leaking like a sieve. Now almost 900 straight days of contamination flowing into the Pacific. and it goes on and on. I want to end tonight with some good news. World Nuclear News reporting national incentive for nuclear regulation. The greater investment of nuclear regulation will pay dividends for Japan as it moves to restart nuclear reactors. Mobilizing more safety review teams could save the country 850 billion yen, or 8.8 billion US. It means more reactors can restart sooner. They're talking about hiring 80 more guys, and they're going to work in 3 teams, one to look at the reactors, one to look at the earthquakes, fault zones, and one to look at the tsunami threats. And they're saying they can, where does it go? Staff assigned to these are a number about 80, taking 6 to 12 months for each assignment. It is assumed that the maximum of 6 reactors at 3 power plants can't be processed at once. So the good news is it could result in 28 reactors opening instead of 16 and avoid the outflow of national wealth from Japan. So they're blaming us all. It's all about money. Money, 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 money. And look where it's taken us now. Enjoy while you can, everybody. Thanks.